As the duel raged on, DillonET unleashed the Awakening maneuver, integrating Viper and Red 1 into his relentless assault. The complex 3DGR structures of tempo and rhythm harmonized with his movements, his blade a blur of precise strikes and deflective parries. The fortress walls seemed to vibrate with the intensity of their clash, each impact echoing the titanic struggle between light and dark. Darth Vader, undeterred, responded with a ferocious counterattack. DillonET switched to the Equilibrium maneuver, blending inverted Viper and Blue 3 into a seamless defense. The 3DGR structures adapted to his rhythm, creating an intricate web of energy that absorbed and redirected Vader's powerful blows. Sensing an opening, Dillon executed the Complexity maneuver, merging Viper and Orange 8 into a devastating sequence of attacks. The 3DGR structures pulsed with a newfound intensity, their patterns becoming more complex and unpredictable. Each strike pushed Vader further back, forcing the Sith Lord to summon every ounce of his dark power to hold his ground. With a final burst of energy, DillonET transitioned into the Poise maneuver, aligning Viper and Green 9 into a synchronized harmony of offense and defense. The 3DGR structures reached their pinnacle, a dazzling display of strategic brilliance and combat prowess. Dillon's blade moved with unparalleled precision, each strike a testament to his mastery. The fortress itself seemed to react to their epic confrontation. Stone columns cracked, and the air was thick with the energy of their duel. DillonET's relentless assault began to wear on Vader, who, for the first time, showed signs of faltering under the combined weight of Dillon's skill and the complex 3DGR structures. In a climactic moment, DillonET saw his chance. He launched a final, decisive strike, his blade aimed directly at Vader's core. But as the blade descended, Vader summoned a surge of dark power, parrying the strike with a force that sent shockwaves through the chamber. The impact of their clash sent both combatants sprawling across the battlefield. They rose slowly, facing each other with blades raised, breathing heavily. The duel had reached a critical juncture, and the next few moments would determine the victor. In the swirling mists of uncertainty, their fates hung by a thread. The fortress walls seemed to hold their breath, the air thick with anticipation. Would DillonET's mastery of tactical synchronic maneuvers and complex 3DGR structures be enough to tip the scales in his favor, or would Vader's dark power prevail? As the echoes of their clash faded, the answer remained elusive, shrouded in the tension of the moment. The epic confrontation poised on the edge of resolution, waiting for the final, decisive blow that would determine the fate of both warriors. In the eerie silence that followed their cataclysmic clash, DillonET and Darth Vader faced each other, each preparing for the final decisive moments of their epic duel. The fortress, battered by the intensity of their battle, seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the conclusion of this monumental struggle. DillonET, his breath steady but labored, drew upon the wellspring of his tactical genius and executed the graceful maneuver. Synchronizing yellow 2 and purple 7, he unleashed a series of fluid, almost ethereal strikes. The complex 3DGR structures of tempo and rhythm shimmered with a brilliance that matched his movements, creating an intricate web of light and energy that seemed to dance around him. Vader, sensing the shifting tide, responded with a powerful surge of the dark side. His crimson blade cut through the air with deadly precision, each strike aimed to break Dillon's rhythm. Yet, Dillon's mastery of the disarmament maneuver, merging Green 9 and Green 9, allowed him to parry Vader's ferocious attacks with deceptive ease. The 3DGR structures resonated with a calm yet formidable energy, absorbing the impact and redirecting the force away from Dillon's core. With a sudden burst of speed, Dillon transitioned into the DillonET maneuver, integrating red 1 and yellow 2 into a synchronized offensive. The complex 3DGR structures pulsed with renewed vigor, their intricate patterns shifting to create openings in Vader's defenses. Dillon's blade moved with blinding speed, each strike a calculated attempt to exploit the Sith Lord's vulnerabilities. Vader, pushed to his limits, summoned a final, desperate surge of dark power. The air crackled with energy as he unleashed a flurry of strikes, his blade a crimson blur. Dillon met the onslaught with the Harmonition maneuver, aligning Viper and Blue 3 into a perfect harmony of offense and defense. The 3DGR structures thrummed with a resonant power, their intricate designs forming a shield that blunted Vader's attacks and turned the tide in Dillon's favor. In the heart of the fortress, the two warriors clashed once more, their blades locked in a battle of wills. Dillon, drawing upon the depths of his strategic brilliance, executed the Awakening maneuver, merging Viper and Red 1 into a final, decisive strike. The complex 3DGR structures flared with a blinding light, their patterns converging into a singular point of overwhelming energy. With a cry of defiance, Dillon's blade pierced through Vader's defenses, striking true. The force of the impact sent a shockwave through the chamber, shattering the very foundations of the fortress. Vader, stunned and reeling, staggered back, his grip on his lightsaber faltering. As the dust settled and the echoes of their clash faded, DillonET stood victorious, his blade still raised in triumph. Vader, beaten but not broken, glared at his adversary with a mixture of rage and respect. The fortress, now a ruin of its former self, bore witness to the epic conclusion of their duel. But as DillonET lowered his blade, a dark presence filled the air, more ominous and foreboding than ever before. Vader, summoning the last remnants of his dark power, rose to his feet, his eyes burning with a renewed, almost primal fury. The battle was not over, and the true test of Dillon's skill and resolve had only just begun. In the shadow of the shattered fortress, the fate of light and dark hung in the balance, awaiting the final, decisive moments of this legendary confrontation. The echoes of their duel reverberated through the ancient halls, a testament to the epic struggle between DillonET and Darth Vader, and the uncertain destiny that lay ahead. As DillonET and Darth Vader faced each other amidst the ruins of the fortress, a low rumble began to echo through the chamber. The ground beneath their feet trembled, and the walls of the ancient stronghold groaned under the stress. An earthquake had begun, adding another layer of chaos to their epic duel. Seizing the moment, Dillon executed the Inversion maneuver, integrating inverted Viper and Orange 8 into a swift, upward strike. The complex 3DGR structures adapted to the shifting terrain, maintaining balance and precision despite the tremors. His blade cut through the air with deadly accuracy, forcing Vader to react quickly to avoid a critical blow. Vader, driven by a surge of dark power, countered with a powerful overhead strike. Dillon responded with the Poise maneuver, blending Viper and Blue 3 into a perfectly timed parry. The 3DGR structures resonated with a stabilizing force, allowing Dillon to absorb and redirect Vader's attack even as the ground shook violently beneath them. The fortress continued to crumble around them, stone and debris falling from the ceiling. Undeterred, Dillon transitioned into the Complexity maneuver, merging Viper and Orange 8 into a series of intricate strikes. The 3DGR structures pulsed with energy, creating a dynamic pattern that seemed to adapt to the earthquake's rhythm, giving Dillon an edge in the chaotic environment. With each maneuver, Dillon's blade moved with calculated precision, exploiting the shifting terrain to his advantage. The 3DGR structures of tempo and rhythm provided a stable foundation, allowing him to maintain his balance and control. Vader, though formidable, struggled to keep up with Dillon's relentless onslaught, his defenses beginning to falter under the combined pressure of the duel and the earthquake. Seeing an opportunity, Dillon executed the equilibrium maneuver, aligning inverted Viper and Blue 3 into a harmonious blend of offense and defense. The 3DGR structures created a stabilizing field around him, absorbing the tremors and allowing him to focus entirely on his opponent. With a powerful strike, he forced Vader back, gaining precious ground in their epic struggle. But just as victory seemed within reach, the earthquake reached its peak, a massive tremor that shook the very foundations of the fortress. The ground split open, creating a chasm that threatened to swallow both combatants. Dillon, using the graceful maneuver, synchronized purple 7 and green 9 to leap across the widening gap, landing with agile precision on the other side. Vader, not to be outdone, summoned the dark side to propel himself across the chasm, landing with a forceful impact that sent shockwaves through the ground. The duel continued amidst the crumbling ruins, each strike and parry now infused with the urgency of their collapsing surroundings. In a climactic moment, DillonET saw his chance. He launched into the duet maneuver, integrating red 1 and yellow 2 into a final, decisive series of strikes. The 3DGR structures flared with a brilliant light, their patterns converging into a singular point of overwhelming energy. His blade moved with unparalleled speed and precision, aimed directly at Vader's core. But as the blade descended, a massive tremor tore through the fortress, causing the ground to collapse beneath them. Both combatants were thrown into the abyss, their fates intertwined in a whirlwind of stone and darkness. As they fell, the echoes of their duel reverberated through the chasm, a testament to their epic struggle and the uncertain destiny that awaited them in the depths below. Would DillonET's mastery of tactical synchronic maneuvers and complex 3DGR structures be enough to save him from the abyss, or would Vader's dark power prove insurmountable in the final moments of their legendary confrontation? The answer remained shrouded in the shadows, a cliffhanger that left the fate of both warriors hanging in the balance, awaiting the resolution of their epic tale. As DillonET and Darth Vader plummeted into the abyss, the air around them filled with the roar of rushing wind and falling debris. Yet even in free fall, their duel continued, each combatant adapting their techniques to the new, vertigo-inducing environment. DillonET initiated the Echoes maneuver, synchronizing purple 7 and yellow 2 in a seamless, fluid sequence. His blade flashed with precision, deflecting Vader's strikes while the 3DGR structures adapted dynamically to their rapid descent. Each motion was a blend of defensive parries and calculated counterstrikes, maintaining control amidst the chaotic tumble. Vader, summoning the dark side to steady himself, countered with a brutal overhead slash. Dillon met the attack with the retaliation maneuver, integrating orange 8 and purple 7. The complex 3DGR structures resonated with a stabilizing force, allowing Dillon to absorb and redirect the energy of Vader's strike, maintaining his equilibrium as they fell. The chasm walls, streaked with ancient stone and flickering shadows, rushed past them. Dillon executed the disarmament maneuver, aligning green 9 and green 9 into a deft, spiraling defense. His blade moved in a tight arc, intercepting Vader's aggressive thrusts and creating openings for his own attacks. The 3DGR structures adapted, forming a protective barrier that allowed Dillon to press his advantage even as they plummeted through the darkness. With a sudden shift, Dillon transitioned into the complexity maneuver, merging Viper and Orange 8. His blade danced in intricate patterns, each strike a calculated probe into Vader's defenses. The complex 3DGR structures pulsed with a rhythmic energy, their patterns shifting to match the erratic flow of their descent. Each move was a masterful blend of offense and defense, pushing Vader to his limits. As the abyss seemed to narrow, debris and stone fragments crashed around them. Dillon's focus sharpened, and he executed the Harmonition maneuver, combining Viper and Blue 3. The 3DGR structures reached a new level of complexity, their patterns harmonizing with Dillon's precise strikes. His blade moved with an almost ethereal grace, each swing perfectly timed to counter Vader's dark power. Seeing an opportunity amidst the chaos, DillonET launched into the Poise maneuver, blending Viper and Green 9. His blade became a blur of defensive and offensive strikes, each move calculated to destabilize Vader's position. The 3DGR structures resonated with a stabilizing force, their intricate designs creating a shield that absorbed and redirected the impact of Vader's attacks. Vader, driven by desperation, summoned a massive surge of dark energy, unleashing a powerful strike aimed at ending the duel. Dillon met this with the Duet maneuver, integrating Red 1 and Yellow 2 into a final, decisive counter. The complex 3DGR structures flared with a brilliant light, their patterns converging into a singular point of overwhelming energy. In the heart of the abyss, their blades clashed with a force that sent shockwaves through the surrounding stone. The energy of their duel illuminated the darkness, casting fleeting shadows on the chasm walls. The impact of their final strikes reverberated through the void, each combatant giving everything to the moment. As they continued to fall, the chasm suddenly opened up into a vast underground cavern. The ground rushed up to meet them, the final test of their skills approaching with deadly speed. Would DillonET's mastery of tactical synchronic maneuvers and complex 3DGR structures be enough to land safely and continue the fight, or would the fall spell the end of their legendary confrontation? In the moments before impact, the answer remained shrouded in uncertainty. The duel between DillonET and Darth Vader hung in the balance, their fates intertwined in a whirlwind of stone, shadow, and light. As DillonET and Darth Vader plummeted towards the vast underground cavern, a new and even more formidable presence began to stir within the darkness. The air grew hotter, thick with an ominous energy that seemed to pulse from the depths below. With a roar that echoed through the chasm, a monstrous figure emerged from the shadows, an ancient Balrog, wreathed in fire and shadow. The cavern floor rushed up to meet them, and both combatants instinctively braced for impact. With unparalleled agility, Dillon executed the Equilibrium maneuver, aligning inverted Viper and Blue 3 to stabilize his descent. The complex 3DGR structures adjusted, creating a cushion of energy that absorbed the shock as he landed lightly on his feet. Vader, using the force to slow his fall, landed with a heavy, resounding thud. The ground trembled beneath them, not just from their arrival, but from the heavy, thunderous footsteps of the Balrog. The beast's fiery whip cracked through the air, and its eyes burned with malevolent intent. Dillon and Vader found themselves momentarily united against this new, towering adversary. Dillon initiated the Inversion maneuver, integrating inverted Viper and Orange 8. His blade struck upward, deflecting the Balrog's fiery lash. The 3D structures adapted, their intricate designs forming a protective barrier against the creature's hellish heat. Each of Dillon's movements was a blend of calculated strikes and agile parries, using the complex patterns to counter the Balrog's ferocity. Vader, seizing the moment, unleashed a powerful force push that staggered the Balrog, giving Dillon an opening. Dillon transitioned into the disarmament maneuver, merging Green 9 and Green 9 into a spiraling attack. His blade carved through the air with precision, aiming for the Balrog's vulnerable joints. The 3D structures pulsed with stabilizing energy, allowing Dillon to maintain his balance amidst the chaos. The Balrog roared in fury, its fiery form growing more intense. Dillon and Vader, now forced to fight side by side, executed a series of synchronized attacks. Dillon's complexity maneuver, blending Viper and Orange 8 and Vader's brutal strikes formed a deadly dance of light and dark. The 3D structures adapted dynamically, enhancing Dillon's movements and creating openings for Vader's powerful blows. As the battle raged, the cavern itself seemed to come alive with the energy of their struggle. Stone columns cracked and fell, and the ground trembled with each clash. Dillon's graceful maneuver, synchronizing purple 7 and yellow 2, allowed him to move with ethereal fluidity, his blade a blur of defensive parries and swift counterattacks. The 3D structures resonated with a harmonious energy, creating a symphony of light and motion. Vader, drawing on the dark side, unleashed a torrent of power that forced the Balrog back. Dillon seized the moment with the duet maneuver, integrating red 1 and yellow 2 into a final, decisive series of strikes. The 3D structures flared with a blinding light, their patterns converging into a singular point of overwhelming energy. His blade moved with unparalleled speed and precision, aiming to end the Balrog's reign of terror. The cavern shook with the force of their combined assault, and the Balrog, caught off guard, staggered back. Its fiery form flickered and waned, the ancient beast struggling against the relentless onslaught. Dillon and Vader, their powers momentarily united, pressed their advantage, each strike pushing the Balrog closer to defeat. But just as victory seemed within reach, the ground beneath them gave way, and they were plunged into an even deeper abyss. The roar of the Balrog echoed through the darkness, and the air grew colder as they fell further into the unknown. As they tumbled through the void, the echoes of their battle reverberated through the chasm, a testament to their epic struggle against the forces of darkness. The fate of DillonET, Darth Vader, and the Balrog hung in the balance, awaiting the resolution of their legendary confrontation in the depths below. The final, decisive moments of their duel remained shrouded in uncertainty, a cliffhanger that left their destinies intertwined in a whirlwind of stone, shadow, and fire. As DillonET landed gracefully on a narrow ledge, he took a moment to survey the chaos below. Darth Vader and the Balrog were locked in a ferocious battle, their powers clashing in a symphony of light and darkness. Dillon knew that to turn the tide, he needed to gain the high ground and use his mastery of complex 3D structures to influence the outcome. Executing the awakening maneuver, Dillon integrated Viper and Red 1 into his climb. The complex 3D structures adapted, forming a network of energy conduits that allowed him to ascend swiftly and effortlessly to a higher vantage point. From this position, he could manipulate the battlefield, using his knowledge of the 3D to shift the flow of combat. Vader, with a roar of dark determination, unleashed a devastating series of strikes against the Balrog. The beast, though mighty, began to falter under the relentless assault. Dillon saw his chance. Initiating the complexity maneuver, he integrated Viper and Orange 8 to create a lattice of 3DGR energy that rippled through the air, subtly influencing the movements of both adversaries below. The 3DGR structures created patterns that destabilized the Balrog's footing, making it easier for Vader to land critical blows. The beast, already weakened, began to succumb to Vader's onslaught. Dillon's manipulations ensured that each strike landed with precision, exploiting the Balrog's every vulnerability. With a final, powerful strike, Vader brought his lightsaber down upon the Balrog's head, severing it from its fiery body. The beast collapsed in a shower of sparks and ash, its roar of defeat echoing through the cavern. As Vader stood victorious, breathing heavily from the exertion, Dillon prepared for the next phase of his plan. Utilizing the disarmament maneuver, Dillon synchronized Green 9 and Green 9 to disable Vader's suit. With a deft combination of strikes and 3DGR manipulations, he targeted the critical systems of Vader's armor. The complex 3DGR structures pulsed with precise energy, short-circuiting the Dark Lord's life support and rendering him immobile. Vader, caught off guard by the sudden attack, stumbled as his suit systems failed. Dillon then transitioned into the DillonET maneuver, integrating Red 1 and Yellow 2 to encase Vader in a cocoon of 3DGR energy. The structures formed an unbreakable lattice around him, immobilizing him completely. Dillon descended from his high ground, the 3DGR energy shimmering around him like a celestial armor. He approached the encased Vader, his expression one of resolute determination. With Vader subdued, Dillon knew the Dark Lord would stand trial, not in a mere court, but in the epicenter of the multiverse, a planeswalker trial that would determine the fate of countless worlds. The cavern's oppressive darkness began to lift as Dillon's 3DGR structures illuminated the space, their light reflecting the purity of his mission. As the echoes of their battle faded, the epicenter of the universe awaited the judgment of Darth Vader, his fate now intertwined with the destiny of every plane he had touched with his dark influence. The chasm that had once been a battleground now stood as a symbol of redemption and justice. DillonET, having harnessed the power of the 3DGR and his tactical synchronic maneuvers, had not only subdued a great evil but had set the stage for a reckoning that would resonate across the planes. The story of their duel, and the trial that followed, would become legend, a testament to the power of light against darkness, and the enduring struggle for balance in the universe.